Welcome back to the BGX podcast. Today, my guest is with me. He is a board game enthusiast and reviewer and TikToker and creator. Welcome to Chris from Diary of a Lincoln Geek. Great to have you on the show.
And it's great to be on the show. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Well, Chris, why don't you, just give us a little bit of your background, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into the hobby?
Oh, crikey. Okay. So I think I probably got into the hobby after probably, more as a kid. I got into it because of Games Workshop, believe it or not. Games Workshop produced some amazing, some games that people may not be aware, 40K, Warhammer, Lord of the Rings miniatures. And it was Warhammer 40K that really got me into the hobby. I remember walking into the store here in Grimsby in the UK, and I was just immediately grabbed by the visual element and the painting, because that's what I was really doing. I was really quite a creative person, and because of that, it kind of led on to finding out about games and board games. And yeah, it's a very deep rabbit hole.
Awesome. So you're into the hobby. How did that evolve into what you do now with Diary of a Lincoln Geek? Obviously, I know you do a lot of podcasting and reviewing, that kind of thing. So kind of, how did you transition into that?
Okay, so it kind of transitioned. So I actually ended up working for Games Workshop while I was at university as a student, and I had friends in the gaming community that owned a bricks and mortar store. So that's what we call it, basically a physical store in the UK. Don't know what you call them out in the US. And they were playing card games, board games. At the big at the time was the Decipher Lord of the Rings card game. Amazing game. And I kind of got really addicted to it, and I spent hundreds of pounds on that card game, collecting all the cards. And it was from there that I then realized that there was a market for individual cards, people selling packs, breaking booster boxes. This is well before the boom that we have now with Magic Online, Magic opening boosters on TikTok and Pokemon and all that, and before it was all really popular online. And I was like, okay, I came out of university with that kind of epiphany, and with the experience of working for Games Workshop, I was like, okay, I'd love to be able to do the same Games Workshop model, which is have a store and be able to have games available, open, whether they're card games, board games, available for people to actually physically play in shop, and then if they wanted to, buy it afterwards. So using that same model. And of course, this was several years ago, before we had the kind of stores doing that now, and it kind of led me to moving on to I realized I couldn't do a physical store because I didn't have the money at the time, because as a student. I thought, okay, let's start with online. So I started my own business called Definitive Games, and I was selling card games, broken down. So it was Lord of the Rings, some Magic cards, and miniatures. And then it was kind of from doing that, it spanned into the wider knowledge of board games and games in general, role play games, tabletop RPG miniatures. And I started stocking and selling those, and I attended my local gaming club. I will give them a shout out, because without them, without Gobsticks Gaming Club here in Lincoln, I wouldn't be where I am now. So thanks to everyone there, because without their support, we wouldn't be where we are now. And then that's where then spanned on to, I was like, okay, I was working really hard. I was trying to pursue a career, as well as trying to do this hobby stroke business sideline. And it was tough. It was hard work. I'd be doing, my day job all day. At the time, I was working as an IT intern at a newspaper company here in Lincoln. And I was trying to do this business. I would be coming home, putting things on eBay, trying to sort out my own web store, because I wanted to mitigate the costs of eBay. I had someone design me a very primitive website, and that cost me money and didn't work out well. So you learn your trials and pitfalls.
Absolutely.
And I then decided, you know what, I took a step away from it because I was tired and I was stressed because I was doing all this outside of my day job. Just, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, going to bed, waking up for the next day job. I was young. That's why I was able to do it. Can't keep doing that forever. So I made the decision to just step away from it. And then I focused on my career, and I have a good career. I enjoy my job that I do, but I kind of took a step away from the card games because, let's face it, Magic the Gathering and all those kind of things are addictive and expensive. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to play card games anymore. And it was 5-6 years ago I made that conscious decision because I was trying to sort out my financial situation because I wasn't the best financial personally. And I just said, right, okay, that's it. I'm going to clear my debt, get myself in order. And I thought, but there's something missing. I didn't go to the club. I didn't game anymore. And I was just like, I want to do something. And board games became that thing. And talking about geeky hobbies, because let's face it, I'm not trying to stereotype or typecast anyone. And I'm sure your audience are probably, might agree with me, I might disagree with me. But the general board game or the geeky card game or that kind of hobby arena all have interest in either Marvel or sci-fi. It's kind of inbuilt into that person.
Sure.
So I started the Diary of a Lincoln Geek. It was just a little blog. I literally don't even call it a blog, a group, a page on Facebook, and it's developed from there. That's how we started Diary of the Lincoln Geek. And then I had a friend join me, a fellow founder, Mr. Dan, and we did our very first review. If you want to go and check it out, you can have a laugh at it. We reviewed Labyrinth by Riverhorse. It's on our YouTube channel. Go and have a nostalgia laugh. It's a giggle. We had fun with it. We didn't like the game. I was absolutely gutted and mortified because I'm actually a massive Labyrinth Dark Crystal fan. And the artist Brian Froud. And when the gameplay was just a roll and dice luck, I was like, ugh. But
that's tough when you have high expectations for a game and then it does not live up even a little bit. That's definitely a tough one.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to hear, kind of that story of grinding so hard and trying to really push forward and make it despite all the odds, and then kind of taking that moment to step back and say, hold on, like, let me just evaluate really quick and see what it is that I really want. And I think that's a part that I think a lot of people miss when they're in that grind. They get so head down and they get so focused on, grind every day that you gotta kind of step back sometimes and ask yourself, is this really making me happy? Is this really what I want to do?
Is that the bigger picture?
Right.
Exactly.
In the big picture. Right.
Yeah. So of course, I made that decision. And Diary of a Lincoln Geek, where it is now. So for people who have followed us from the start will know, not so much, of recent, but COVID is an awful thing. Okay. People have lost their lives, their livelihoods. I've had to reskill because of working from home, because their jobs physically can't do it that way. It's an awful thing. But for us, believe it or not, COVID in my personal life has been a positive because I work in the IT industry, and the IT industry wasn't very much remote, but now remote working is kind of gone, oh my God, you can actually do it. And it meant I could be at home with my daughter, who's now 13 months old. She's the love of my life. I absolutely love her to pieces, along with my wife. And that's what's helped me evaluate where we are now, because Diary of a Lincoln Geek is non-profit. We don't charge for reviews. They are honest, salt of the earth review. I work with 9 other people. It's not just me that runs Diary of a Lincoln Geek. I may be the founder, but it's a team of 9 of us. And it's that team of 9 people that working together is what makes something like this work. We do written reviews on the website. We've got a bi-weekly podcast that's going to be coming weekly. Fingers crossed. We have our live show, Let's Talk Board Games, which we do monthly. And we have written reviews come out every week on a Friday on the website. And one person can't just do that. One person can't just reach out and go, I'd like to review your board game. I'd like to review your board game. It doesn't work like that. And I'm sure anyone else in the board game review industry, like us, knows it's not. And there are some amazing content creators out there, and hats off to you all that do it as a day job and get an income from it as a content creator. I totally and utterly, salute you, because it's not an easy thing, let alone doing it in your free time as a hobby. But we love it, and all the while we continue to love it, we'll continue to do it. So
yeah. Well, I want to touch on something you mentioned about, kind of COVID and how that's obviously in the macro environment of, globally and even locally. I mean, it's been a tragedy.
Oh God, it is tragedy.
Yeah, but for a lot of people individually, for some it has been sort of a blessing in disguise, and that silver lining has been, it is that reality check of, let's all time out as a population. Let's all time out and really evaluate, what were we doing with our lives pre-COVID? I've been working remote now for 7 years, so the remote thing didn't change a lot for me. But one of the things that did change, I was working in the corporate rat race and kind of chasing the big cheese. And COVID came along. My team was furloughed. Like in the drop of a hat, suddenly we were not important to the organization, and that was a huge wake-up call for me personally and for my wife. Like, oh, these companies don't, respect all the companies, like they do what they got to do to make the bills, but at the same time, my whole livelihood was tied up in this corporation taking care of me and my family. And then suddenly we were not a priority. So I'm right there with you. I mean, that was a huge reevaluation point for me, and kind of the moment where I said, I can't be relying on anyone else to take care of my family. I have to be the one to take care of my family. And so, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, COVID was obviously is a tragedy and continues to be a tragedy as still people are suffering, but it was definitely interesting how the social dynamics and the work dynamics have changed because of COVID. The Great Resignation, which is really the great reevaluation of people saying, hang on, why am I doing this job for you if there's no, like, it's got to be a two-way street now. It's not just workers serving,
Exactly. And the thing is, I know we're probably going away from the board game stuff here, okay. But businesses are realizing, businesses realize that they can do this and are doing this. You got big multinational companies that are going, whoa, we've been spending millions, and I mean, some companies, millions on office spaces and electricity and everything that goes along with having that office space, and now go, wow, we've just reduced our costs by like 2/3 because not everyone needs to be in the office, and people prove that they can do the work. I run a team, like I say, 9 volunteers. Okay, no one's paid. Their little perks are they get to keep a copy of the game when someone sends us a review. And they'll get, they come on the show and they do the podcast and they love doing it. But they've got that time because they've got time back, because people aren't commuting to day jobs anymore. Right. You're not in the office. You've not got the interruptions of someone coming up to you and going, oh no, can you just do this? Can you just do that? It doesn't happen. Yeah. So in my lunch breaks, I get podcasts done. I help out my wife. I help out my child. After, when I finish work, what would be, for me, I'll be honest, if I was going into the office daily, a 4-hour commute each way, I don't have to do that. So I'm getting lots of time back. And that time gives me that time to spend that time with my loved ones, to do my hobbies, and to do this.
Yeah.
Because this is what is the big goal. And Diary of a Lincoln Geek is not only just a hobby and that passion, but it's also that escapism that we all need. We all need to get out of our normal daily rat race lives. And if watching a podcast or listening to a live show gives someone that bit of happiness, boom, I'm done. I don't need thousands of followers. I don't need 20 million subscribers to be happy. All it takes is one person to say, I loved your show, I loved your TikTok, or I loved your Instagram post. Done. The numbers don't mean anything. It's just a nicety. Absolutely.
So what's the future goal for Diary of a Lincoln Geek? I mean, obviously you're putting out a ton of content right now. I've checked out the website, and you've got a lot going on. Where do you see that evolving from here?
Okay, so we are actually, and I'm allowed to say it because I've started splashing it. We're actually developing our own board game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the future is Diary of a Lincoln Geek are producing a board game called Hedgehog Haven. You can go and check it out. It's hedgehoghaven.co.uk, all one word, no spaces. We've just splashed some concept artwork for the board game. It's an exploration wildlife-based game based on cute and furry little hedgehogs. I'm not going to say too much more because we're going to be splashing and putting lots of snippets and a design process of the game. We're at a stage where we're kind of happy with the mechanics. We've got a lot of things, in Tabletop Simulator, the wonders of Tabletop Simulator and other simulation board games tools. And playtesting's gone well, and feedback's been good so far. So we're now at the stage where we're ready to start kind of drip feeding content onto social media. So we'll be seeing lots from us about that. But one of the two big things for us that are coming up very soon is our May the 4th live stream. We are raising money for Dementia UK. We do a yearly May 4th live stream, and this year we're doing board games in person. Yes, we get to do something in person. We're playing as many Star Wars theme-based games as possible over 24 hours, and we're going to be raising money for Dementia UK, so there's that. And also UK Games Expo is the big one for us. We've just had our press passes confirmed for this year, and we're going to be attending and chatting to lots of game designers. We're already booked in 12 designers to interview at the event. So if you can't go to UK Games Expo and you want to see some interviews, then you can subscribe on the website and you can watch all of them as we live stream, because we live stream across Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and hopefully Instagram. Now we've figured out the tech.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's the future of Diary of a Lincoln Geek. We've kind of been pushing digital content a lot. TikTok's new for us, and it's just blown up. It's just nuts. You jump on the hype and the bandwagon and the fun posts, the silly stuff like that, and the stupid diving on a bed pretending to fall off because my wife won't play board games with me. But yeah, you do that because people like fun, engaging things, and that's what TikTok's about. It's short snippets and little things, which kind of draw people to all the content that we're going to be creating. So we like to have fun. We are casual people, and at the end of the day, we are just people. We just want to engage with people. So, but that's been a big new thing for us. We're about to hit 600 followers, and we've only really kind of been pushing it for the last couple of weeks. But we're driving to get some more subscribers because, of course, we'd like to have the interest there for releasing our board game. So It's kind of a two-edge approach. While I've said numbers aren't important, they are when you're trying to release a board game.
Of course. Well, we don't need 20 million subscribers. It'd be nice, though, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice. Oh, yeah, exactly. But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I'm proud of about Diary of a Lincoln Geek is, we were just streaming amongst friends, and now we chat to game designers. I mean, we're chatting to John Gilmore now the 7th.
Yeah.
He designed Dinosaur Island and
Right.
Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter is one of my favorite board games, and we're getting to chat to him, on the 7th. So I'm like, I'm going to be like a kid. I'm going to be like so starstruck. You designed Dead of Winter. How awesome is that?
So, I mean, you've got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak, and a lot of projects going on. If you were to talk to somebody out there who says, "Man, I want to do that. I want to publish my own game, or I want to, become a designer, become a full-time, or a podcaster, or interviewer," what would your advice be to those people who are, kind of aspiring to get started?
Do it. You can only learn by doing. You can watch lots of people doing it. You can get inspiration from people doing it, but you don't define you until you do it. You got to give your own take on something. You can't just go out and copy someone, because let's face it, we all see a lot of carbon copies of people trying to copy other things that other people are doing. And yeah, just give it a go. Go out there, join Facebook groups. Believe it or not, Facebook groups are really an amazing community. Join Twitter. Twitter was one of the big things that I used to be really against. I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand tweeting. What the hell? What is the point of tweets? And now we wouldn't be where where we are now without it. The engagement and the conversations that just start from a single line of text is phenomenal, and it spirals and it grows, and it's that growth and that knowledge and understanding and just putting yourself out there is what's key. You've got to start somewhere. So be you, be yourself, give it a go. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah, man.
My biggest advice.
I could not agree with you more. It's great to sit in your bed or or whatever and kind of be swiping through and say, man, I wish I could do that, and kind of have those aspirations. But until you make your first post, you
only
just got to
start. Can do it.
Right. And everybody's first post, you said go back and have a laugh. My first YouTube video, embarrassing. My first TikTok, not great. Like everybody's first everything is always bad. And you can look at the most influential of influencers and you go back and look at their first post, it's not great. The production value is not great, and you just learn over time, I think. And until you've put out 100 pieces of content on a particular platform, I don't think that you can really judge it. Like just keep going until you get to 100. And then at 100, then you'll sort of have a feel for, okay, this is good, this is not good, or you'll kind of get more of a sense.
And don't be afraid to think, oh, maybe I've got all that content and I've changed my format and I don't want that to be there anymore, and they go delete it. Don't delete your old content. It is surprisingly useful because it's a retrospective. You can look back at your content and go, look where we've come. Look what we've done. Look how different we are to then to we are now. Because even that is self-learning, because you'll also learn how to be on a live stream, how to talk to someone. Right. You kind of replace bad habits with other habits. I mean, one of my big things is I'm a talkative person at the best times. We all do it. We all naturally go, I'm thinking, and I am,
right.
And sometimes they're funny. Sometimes it's I don't know what I'm saying. And you do something over expressive to deliberately give yourself that time to say something. But other times it's just, and it doesn't sound great. So there's a big tip. If you're doing this kind of thing, take your time in your head to have a think about what it is you're saying, and then carry on. It's a bit more succinct and you have less of those pauses. Great tip for you. There you
Yeah, absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. So, getting back to games a little bit, if you had to choose, I mean, what would be your gateway game? I know you talked about Magic a little bit, but do you have a gateway game that really got you into board games, or at
Oh,
least modern
gateway
board games?
game. Gateway game. Right. Well, if you want to talk about gateway games, we've got two here. So,
Okay.
gateway game, first one. It's a bit of a sore subject against our group, but it's still a gateway game that got me started. There you go.
Catan.
Settlers of
Okay.
Catan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And along with that, also another very popular one, Catan.
Carcassonne. Okay.
Yeah. Or Carcassonne. Sorry, I just said Catan. But the big one, this is why they're all together because I get asked this a lot,
Okay.
is Talisman.
Okay.
Talisman was originally developed by Games Workshop, and then Fantasy Flight bought it out, and they've done all sorts of things to it since. Not all great, but I still love it. It's got a soft spot in my heart. It takes forever to play, don't get me wrong. You never quite get to that crown of command before everyone's like, I've had enough.
Right. Right.
But it's a great game and I love it. And those are the kind of gateway games that got me into it. I love the fact that you asked about gateway games because I think gateway games have kind of changed now. Gateway games have developed, and I'm seeing more and more games come to market all the time. And it's another positive thing from COVID is the fact that we've got lots more gateway games.
Mhm.
There's one there, right there,
Right.
right now. Splendor has been out for a lot longer than before Marvel Splendor came out. But whether you're looking at the reskin or you're looking at the original, Splendor's a great gateway game. Doesn't take long to teach people, and it gets people involved straight away. One that may not be so much of a well-known one, but we recently had this one, reviewed this, and I would say this is a new gateway game, Evil Core.
Okay.
Great game. It's about CEOs, billionaire climates. It's got elements of I'm going to say multi-global domination. But it's just a great game. And these are new gateway games that I think would, you can teach people dead easy, really quickly. And oh my God, I like this. It's a board game. Board games are for geeks. What? Board games are for nerds. Oh, right. Am I a nerd?
or board games are for kids, right? That's the other one that I hear a lot is like, why do you have so many board games? That's for kids. Like, well, no, like they're a lot of fun. And, and then we pick up, Ticket to Ride is one of my go-tos for, people who are brand new and, they don't really get board games. That's an easy one because it's very simple to teach, as you said, like
exactly
connect your trains, do what's on, just follow the card, do what's on the card and you win, and, I think the play doesn't take forever. So for a new player who's, just sort of getting in, they're not going to be overwhelmed by the complexity or anything like that. And I agree with you. I think it's great to see, so many new games coming that are accessible and also that are not at a $200 price point. That's
exactly,
that's one of the things that I think is, not wrong, but it's sort of we sort of went down a rabbit hole, I feel like, as an industry a few years back, and more components, more miniatures, more everything. And it just started pricing people out of the hobby altogether, where they're like, I like board games, but I'm just going to play Catan because it's $40, and
exactly. I mean, I'll be honest, there are games out there that I physically won't touch. And I'm not going to mention it because it's become a bit of a bugbear with me with them. But they recently did a Kickstarter, and I'm like, the core game doesn't have some of the things I would think would be automatically included with the core game, and you've got to back it to how many levels to get the characters you want. That's ridiculous. And then what you think's a nice little boxed game of maybe $40-50, I'm trying to figure out conversion rates here, becomes $300.
Right.
And then you've got shipping and the import and everything else that's going on at the moment, because of course with COVID, it's been great for the board games community because we're seeing so many people, creating games and putting them on Kickstarter or self-publishing. it's inspiring. You know, we're seeing people producing some amazing games, and it's something else. The time for now for board gaming is phenomenal. There's so many games out there. You're spoilt for choice. And this is one of the things that we're trying to do at Diary of a Lincoln Geek, is to make that choice easier for people. We're not trying to guide people to play specific games. No, far from it. We just try to provide a good, honest, wholesome, down-to-earth review. Yeah, we like it, we don't like it, or yeah, okay, it's a good game, it's got these flaws with it, but you'll probably still like it. Because we try to do it to cover for a bit for everyone, because of course you've got the hardcore gamers that want to know all about the games, and you've got the people who might have just quickly Googled Ticket to Ride or Evil Core and go, right, okay, what's this? What's all this about Evil Core? Okay, there's Diary of a Lincoln Geek's review. Let's have a look at it. Okay, all right then, let's go check it out. And then you don't mind paying 40, 50, 50 quid on a game because you've got the rundown of it. And I think this is why content creators are so popular, because they do give that insight for that people for that game, and they get the excitement there, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I know for my wife and I send her TikToks and videos all the time of, here's a quick review of a game, and it's, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I think we would enjoy that game. And, I'll send it to her, and sometimes we'll end up with a copy. So, yeah, I totally agree. I think we are spoiled for choice. There's so many things out there, and so many new games coming on the market, which is incredible. And now, again, I think it's, now, how do we make that more accessible to more people? Because I mean, if we sort of put the gates up and say, well, you have to be an avid gamer to play any of these games, I think that's bad for everyone. I think the more accessible we can make every game, the better.
Exactly, I totally agree, and that's one of the actual things that we've tried to do with our own game. Is making it accessible for everyone. So one of the things I will kind of mention, after that, I'm not going to mention any more about Hedgehog Haven, but there's going to be 2 game modes for it. So you'll have the basic game, and then you'll have the more advanced element of the game. So the character boards are going to be dual-sided, and you'll have different abilities and different goals that you can do to achieve game, to score additional points. And add a level of an extra complexity for the more seasoned gamer. But you don't have to do that. Out of the box, it can be played by anyone, I would say 7 up. So that's the aim, because we want everyone to play it. Because also there's an element of the game that's educational, because the main thing behind all this is the fact that I love hedgehogs. Hedgehogs here in the UK are in decline. And the game was also a way of educating people about the dangers that are out there for hedgehogs and what's causing their decline. So there's a 2-pronged approach with it.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I love the art that it is. At least the concept art you've got out is at least, sort of anatomically correct. Everyone, when they think hedgehogs, typically think Sonic, and it's like, okay, well, they don't really look like that, so
yeah, they're not blue, they don't go really fast.
Right. They don't wear shoes, right? No. So it's, I think that's great too. If you're trying to raise awareness and like, hey, this animal is in danger, or their population's declining, knowing what they look like is a good first step to to being able to recognize that. So awesome. Well, Chris, I appreciate the time today. Where can people find more information if they're looking for, anything about, Hedgehog Haven or Diary of a Lincoln Geek? Where can they go?
Okay, so I'll keep it short and sweet. You can either, if you like typing in something really long, then you can type in diaryofalincolngeek.com, all one word, no spaces. Or if you want something a bit briefer, it's DOALG.co.uk. All our content's accessible through those. You've got access to the live show, Let's Talk Board Game, and of course the podcast, Get Your Geek On. You can activate it on your smart speaker as well, as you heard earlier. And of course, for Hedgehog Haven, it is literally hedgehoghaven.co.uk, all one word, no spaces. And we're going to be seeing lots of stuff on there. So if you want to get progress updates regarding that game, you can subscribe on the web on that site, and you'll get alerts when we push out new content and announce new things.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to play. I'll definitely be subscribing here right after we get off, and looking forward to checking that out. And appreciate your time today. It was great to have you on. Appreciate all of your insight, and
Yep.
look forward to chatting more in the future.
No, it's great. Thanks for having me on, and I look forward to watching more of your content.
All right. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Take care, keep safe, and keep gaming.